Welcome to Doodle Healing the Warrior Way podcast, where your life is your masterpiece. I'm Cindy Baelish, your Doodle Warrior Coach, here to help you turn self-doubt into unshakable confidence, rediscover your purpose, and create a life you can't wait to wake up to. Grab your favorite pen and let's doodle your way to clarity, joy, and freedom, one episode at a time. We've all heard the phrase, what you focus on grows. It kind of sounds like a motivational poster, but what if it's not fluff? What if it's biology? What if your brain is literally wired to build more of what you repeatedly look for? Today, I want to show you 3 things happening inside of your brain right now. Confirmation bias, neuroplasticity, and something called the reticular activating system. Stay tuned because we're diving deep. If you understand these 3 things, you will never think about your thoughts the same way again. Because what you focus on does not just grow in your mind, it grows your identity. It creates your habits and it creates your results. Let's start with confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is your brain's tendency to look for evidence that proves you are right. Not the truth, but that you're right. Once you decide something about yourself, your brain goes to work proving you right. If you believe I always quit, you will look for the times when you quit. You will look for the evidence of when you quit. If you believe I'm not creative, you will dismiss every small creative win. You will literally overlook evidence that contradicts your belief. This is not because you are dramatic. It is because your brain loves efficiency. So it builds shortcuts. And once a belief is installed in your brain, it saves energy by reinforcing it. It's harder for your brain to change its belief than to keep reinforcing the belief. So imagine 2 women start a new fitness plan. Woman A thinks, I never stick with anything. Woman B thinks, I'm becoming someone who follows through. They both miss one workout. Woman A says, see, I knew it. I always give up on myself. I always quit. Woman B says, that was just one day. I am still the kind of woman who keeps going no matter what. Same circumstances, but they have a different belief. So they collected different evidence and then got different results. Confirmation bias builds your identity because it keeps gathering proof for whatever story you already believe. So if you keep focusing on your failures, your brain will just build a case for it. If you start focusing on small wins, your brain will build that case too. What you focus on grows. Not because the universe sprinkles fairy dust on you, but because your brain keeps looking for supporting evidence. Number 2, neuroplasticity. Now here's where it gets powerful. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to change. For years, people believed your brain was fixed after childhood. Your brain forms new neural pathways based on repetition. Every thought you repeat strengthens a pathway. Repeated behavior wires it even deeper. Think of it like walking through grass. When you do it every day, you create a clear path. I know I have dogs that run around my house, and they have a path in my grass. Your thoughts work the same way. If you constantly think, it's too late for me, I am behind, I'm just too old, I missed my chance, you are strengthening that pathway. It becomes automatic, but you can build a new one. If you pause and ask, how would the woman I am becoming think right now? You interrupt the old path. If you practice a new thought, even if it feels awkward, you begin building a new trail. This is why small actions matter. A little bit of action in a new direction goes a very long way. If you move your body consistently, you are not just improving fitness. You are reinforcing the identity of someone who takes care of herself. If you write for 10 minutes a day, you are not just producing words. You are wiring in, I am a writer. Repetition plus emotion strengthens neural pathways. That is what neuroplasticity is. Super cool. Your brain does not care if the thought is helpful or harmful to you. It just cares if it's repeated through practice. It wires whatever you practice. So if you focus on resentment, resentment grows. If you focus on gratitude, gratitude grows too. There was a 2017 publication in Frontiers in Psychology discussing gratitude as a motivator for self-improvement and positive change. Positive emotional focus influences behavior. The brain adapts around repeated emotional experiences. This is not pretend positivity. It is brain training. What you focus on grows because your brain physically changes around what you repeatedly think and do. Okay, so let's take a look at this doodle to really dig into what you focus on grows. So we have a watering can, and it's watering this seed. So all these drops are coming down and watering the seed. You see that? And each drop is helping this seed that we really care about, this new thought that we want. So the new thought for me is I'm becoming a woman who takes intentional care of herself. And every drop of water is helping that seed grow. And I'm tending it. I'm focusing on that, right? I'm not giving it too much. I'm not giving it too little. I'm letting the sun shine on it. I'm putting it in good soil. And I'm feeding my thought and helping it grow. That is the way to succeed and to get what you want in your life, is to water and feed the new thought, the thought that helps you get to where you want to be. Point 3, the reticular activating system. Now let's talk about the reticular activating system, or RAS. This is a network of neurons in your brainstem that acts like a filter. You are taking in thousands of pieces of information every minute of the day. Sounds, colors, conversations, memories, sensations, emotions. If you try to consciously process all of it, your brain would shut down. So the RAS filters it. It decides what gets your attention. Here is a fun example. Have you ever decided you wanted to buy a specific car? Maybe it was a red convertible. Suddenly you see that car everywhere you go. Those cars did not multiply overnight. Your brain just marked that car as important. So your RAS highlighted those cars. The same thing happens with your goals. If you keep telling yourself, I am overwhelmed, your RAS will highlight everything that feels overwhelming. If you keep telling yourself, I am building something meaningful, your RAS will highlight opportunities, ideas, and connections. It does not create reality. It filters it. It shines a spotlight on what you have declared important. This is why being clear about what you want matters. If you are vague about what you want, your brain does not know what to filter for. If you clearly define, in the next 90 days, I'm becoming a woman who takes care of her health, your RAS begins noticing walking trails, workout ideas, articles, conversations. You start seeing resources that were always there, but you didn't see them before. The RAS also plays a role in alertness and arousal. It helps regulate sleep and wake cycles. It activates attention when something important happens, but it takes cues from you. Your repeated focus trains it, so if you constantly look for problems, it becomes excellent at finding problems. If you train it to scan for growth, progress, and possibility, it becomes excellent at finding growth, progress, and possibility. Again, what you focus on grows because your brain filters in alignment with your focus. Let's put the 3 together. Confirmation bias gathers evidence for what you already believe. Neuroplasticity wires in whatever you repeatedly think and do. The reticular activating system filters your world based on what you declare important. So if you focus on lack, your brain collects proof of lack, and it strengthens the lack-based pathways, highlights more lack in your environment, and that feels like reality, right? But it is filtered reality. Imagine you intentionally focus on becoming, not pretending everything is perfect, but deliberately choosing thoughts like, I am learning, I am building, I am growing stronger. Your brain will collect proof of growth and then wire in a new growth pathway. It highlights opportunities for growth that become your lived experience. This is not about ignoring pain. It is about directing attention, because attention is growth. So what do you do with this? Here are 3 simple practices you can try today. First, audit your focus. Ask yourself, what have I been rehearsing in my mind lately? Second, choose one identity statement, not 10, just one. Mine is, I am becoming a woman who takes intentional care of herself. Third, collect evidence daily. Write down one small action that supports that identity. This works with confirmation bias instead of against it. It builds neural pathways, and it trains your RAS. Small, consistent, and intentional. Let's recap what we learned. 1. Confirmation bias means your brain gathers proof for what you already believe. 2. Neuroplasticity means your brain rewires itself around repeated thoughts and actions. Now imagine you intentionally focus on becoming, not pretending everything is perfect, but deliberately choosing thoughts like, I am learning, I am building, I am growing stronger. Your brain will collect proof of growth and then wire in a new growth pathway. It highlights opportunities for growth that become your lived experience. This is not about ignoring pain. It is about directing attention, because attention is growth. So what do you do with this? The reticular activating system filters what you see in your environment based on what you say is important. Put together, what you focus on grows is not motivational fluff. It's neuroscience. Your focus builds identity. Your identity shapes action, and your action creates the results you're getting. So the real question is not, is this phrase true? The real question is, what are you focusing on? Because your brain is building around it right now, and that is powerful stuff. Choose carefully, my friend. Fill in the blank, I am becoming a woman who, and then start watering that thought and see what happens next. We'll see you next time. Doodle Healing the Warrior Way. Thanks for listening to Doodle Healing the Warrior Way podcast, where your life is your masterpiece. If today's episode inspired you, make sure to subscribe and share it with a friend who needs a little encouragement. Want more? Grab my free Doodle Your Vision Board guide. The link is in the description below. Remember, you are the warrior of your story. Your life, your masterpiece.